Going for a really kind of a wacky look in here. Haven't seen it done yet, so I thought it would be a fun project to do. The metal behind here is just old roofing tin from an old barn, and I don't have a spot up on the roof either for an air conditioning unit. I used whatever I had to build this thing. How long do you guys think it took me to get this thing done from start to finish? Hey guys, my name is Wes. I'm going to give you a tour of my 2011 E450 ambulance conversion. Let's go check it out. Hey guys, welcome to the inside of my rig. I built this rig kind of with a post-apocalyptic theme in mind. So all the paint and everything in here is faux painted to look really old and mildewy and kind of water stained and everything. I did it on purpose just for this look. I love post-apocalyptic scenarios. I think they're pretty fun. And so I wanted a rig that kind of reflected that. So I used old signs back here on the backsplash, just kind of a random abstract style. So with a lot of these products in here that I use, it's all used, stuff from projects that we use at our shop. I own a shop, Darkwolf Artisans, and basically we do roof raises on schoolies. And a lot of this product comes from, the leftover things for those projects. So for instance, this one here is actually a ceiling panel from a school bus. And of course I've distressed it and made it kind of apocalyptic in here. Just going for a really kind of a wacky look in here. Haven't seen it done yet, so I thought it would be a fun project to do. I had to build this kitchen in such a way that worked around the original ambulance, box itself. There's some outer storage units that I had to kind of work around. I was able to put some drawers right above the outer storage. I did something kind of unique on the countertop here. I haven't seen it too much, but it's actually galvanized sheet metal. It's 18 gauge. We actually use these on our bus conversions that we do. And I thought, man, it would be really cool just to have metal countertops in here. Easy to clean up, it's zinc, so it's good for you. I did an induction cooktop in here. I went all electric on this unit, no gas or propane or anything, so all electric. And this is pretty efficient. It's a little slower cooking than gas, but it's been working really well for this kind of a rig that I built here. So moving over to this side of the kitchen now, we've got the kitchen sink and the faucet and everything here. This was just a sink we had in the shop from another project that we had laying around. And it's a little small for this, but the theme is using whatever I can find that's free basically for this apocalyptic style build. So this worked just fine. I didn't put too much pressure or intention with the things that I put in here. I just grabbed things and made it work in this build. And that's why I think it's turned out fairly unique in a way that a lot of others, they plan everything out perfectly. This one just I threw it together pretty quick and it was okay. So above the sink is a cabinet that I keep all my dishes, basically coffee cups, plates, bowls, that sort of thing. The other cabinet over there, I keep my food items. All right, so I've got a fan above my head here and that helps pull some of the stuff out of the kitchen as you're cooking and everything. A lot of times it's, preferably a fan above your bed to help cool you at night or whatever. But in my case, I had to put a bunch of solar panels up on my roof. I needed a lot of power. Those panels kind of dictated where this fan had to go in a sense. And I don't have a spot up on the roof either for an air conditioning unit. So what we've used in this rig is a Velvet underbench unit, model 2000U. It's a 24 volt, and it's actually mounted in one of my side storage compartments in this ambulance. So my electrical system in this rig is a 24 volt system. Velvet also offers a 12 and a 48 volt system. So it's very diverse in whatever your electrical needs are. I mounted mine, of course, underneath this storage space, an exterior storage space. They come with 2 external vents that blow the cool air, and they come with about 4 foot of ducting for that. So you can kind of put those wherever makes sense in your rig. So the Velvet air conditioner is really a revolutionary thing. You can put it under your bench, you can put it under bed, anywhere other than the roof, because the roof is pretty important on these little rigs. You got to put as much solar on there as you want. I've got 1640 watts on this roof, and I would have never been able to achieve that if I had to have an air conditioner up on the roof. So the guys over at Velvet designed a very efficient air conditioning system. This one runs on 24 volt DC, which is much more efficient than AC. It runs about 350 watts eco mode and about 500 watts on boost mode. With the amount of solar I have on my roof, doesn't touch my batteries whatsoever during the day. And at nighttime, I can run this system for roughly about 10 hours to stay nice and comfortable while I'm sleeping. If you want to check out Velvet's website and learn more about this unit, the link's in the description below. So carrying on with the storage in this rig, I built kind of a military style file cabinet over here. I painted it kind of a olive drab green, distressed it, kind of made it look a little old. So I wanted to do something a little creative with my drawer pulls, and I found a chiropractor selling a lot of his stuff. He was selling his business. And I bought these little plastic human vertebrae, and I thought they'd make really great drawer pulls for this unit. So it kind of goes with the theme. So when I got this rig, it was an actual ambulance from Sedgwick County where I live. We got it at auction, and I started the gutting process on this thing. It was full of probably 10 miles of wiring that I had to carefully dissect out of this thing to make sure that the chassis stuff still worked and I didn't disable the vehicle altogether. How long do you guys think it took me to get this thing done from start to finish? The inspiration in this build, I love the post-apocalyptic type stuff. I do a lot of found object art. I've got a bus as well. Transcendence is its name, and Transcendent Existence is my YouTube channel. So you can follow that if you like. You can see my entire build process. But I was a little conservative with that build. I didn't go all out post-apocalyptic. It's more of a rustic feel with some kind of apocalyptic artwork and design work in there. With this one, I wanted to go all out. I painted it grungy. I did everything I kind of wish I would have done on the bus, but I ended up just doing it on this rig. It's been a really fun project, and I'm really happy with the way it came out. I've got a little bit more work to do on the interior, a little more decorating and design work in there, but for the most part, the interior is pretty much done. I'm gonna paint this thing here pretty soon. What color should I paint this? So let me know in the comments below. So moving across over here, we've got my bathroom, and on the exterior of that, I used a bunch of old pallets to build kind of the wood structure here. I planed it down in my plane to a 3/8 thickness rather than 3/4, so it's a little lighter weight. Gave it a stain. I don't particularly like the color of the stain, but again, I used whatever I had to build this thing, and I really didn't care. I let everything just kind of be its own. So this is some of the art that I create. A friend of mine 3D printed this Oni mask for me, and I painted it all up and put a bunch of different components from motorcycles and different cars and little parts and pieces on here to kind of give it that apocalyptic feel. On the interior of the bathroom, again, I'm trying to use as much found materials, found objects, stuff like that. I used some old rusty tin from an old barn in the bathroom for the walls in there. It's galvanized, but it's got a little bit of rust kind of coming out through it, so it made it a really nice look and a nice feel in there. I built the shower pan out of galvanized sheet metal and just shaped it, to the size I needed, put a drain in it, and it works just great. I also have a Nature's Head composting toilet in there, and it functions well. So since this bathroom is a really small space, I went ahead and built this little curtain rod that kind of swings out, and you can pull this curtain out, and that kind of closes this area off so you get a little more privacy in there. One neat thing about the ambulance is they have a pass-through, so you can get from the driver's space back into your living space really easily. It's really nice. You pull up to a situation at nighttime in a parking lot or whatever, instead of having to get out of your rig to get into your living space, you can just walk right through into the pass-through and you're here. It's pretty great. So above the pass-through, I've got just storage for toilet paper and just some of my artwork. That's actually a little skull that I created for one of our other bus projects that are in the shop. Anyway, that was just a test sample for that, but I thought it would be cool just to put it in here. Reflects the theme again. So over here also, I've got my monitor for my solar setup. I've got all Victron components in there, and this monitors all the components down in my solar cabinet. I've got 1640 watts up on the roof, and I got 600 amp hours of battery. I actually only have 400 at the moment. I had 2 batteries go bad, so we sent those in, so they'll be coming back, and I'll have 600 again soon. This rig has been doing great off-grid. So moving along across the kitchen, I've got my wood stove area. I built the cabinet with a little shoe cubby, so when you walk in the door, you can take shoes off, throw them in there. It stores all my wood in these little wood boxes here. I've got fire starting stuff, kindling, the matches and all that good stuff in there, so I keep those enclosed. So this is the Grizzly Cubic Mini wood stove. This thing works really well. It'll burn you out of here if you feed too much wood in there. I was in New Mexico during the winter, just this past winter, and it was really great in here. The metal behind here is just old roofing tin from an old barn that I scavenged. And I kind of painted the cabinetry itself to kind of match that. I also put the same galvanized 18 gauge metal countertops in here. I thought that'd be a great thing for the fire situation. You know, this gets pretty hot, so this deflects or reflects a lot of the heat off of it. My little light switch over there, I actually used a head from an old air compressor and put it on there rather than just a regular electrical box. I put a dimmer on that thing and that dims these puck lights. I'm not a big fan of these puck lights. They're kind of blaring on your eyes when they're above you like that. I really like this neon LED light strip. These things are really cool. They change colors, bounce to the music, you know, all the things that the fancy LED stuff does nowadays. But it gives more of an ambient light. I like the way that it feels in here, especially at nighttime, and certain colors, of course, make it feel even better. So I come from a background of building high-end hot rods, and a lot of times we do sculptural headliners in there, and I wanted to kind of bring that feel into this rig as well. So I built this board here. It houses the lighting and that sort of thing. I built it kind of a spaceship-y look thing with the colors and everything. But I did something a little different for my actual ceiling panels. I used 1/4-inch plywood, Reflectix, and canvas. And so I added some extra insulation up here, and then I went and distressed the ceiling a little bit, just kind of make it a cohesive feel in here. I still need to add some, you know, browns and some tans in there, but it's black now distressed and it's looking pretty cool. So I decided to kind of live this lifestyle just for the freedoms involved and everything. But one thing I didn't anticipate was getting on the road and finding real good faith in humanity. You know, there's a lot of bad things that happen in the world, but being out there traveling, you meet some amazing people. I've had some major breakdowns. I've had people just stop, pull over on the side of the road to help me out unexpectedly, invite me to their home for dinner afterwards, after the help. I mean, I've had some amazing things happen on the road. There's some really good stuff out there. Once you, I think, follow your heart's desire, start doing something you really love, it's like the universe conspires for you and puts those people and things into place to make things a really great place to be. So one of the beautiful things that I find about traveling. So welcome to the bedroom. Under my bed, I have an Iceco chest refrigerator freezer, and I built this little latching system here. This is actually from it's a rear sprocket from an Indian moped, actually. So I just devised a way to lock these two drawers with one little clasp type situation. So all you gotta do is just push that around and it unlocks, and then you can open this up. So on this side we have the refrigerator, and on this side we have the freezer. This thing holds enough food for about 2 weeks for one person, no problem. It's been really great. The electrical draw on this thing, it's only drawing about 70 watts when it's on, and then of course it shuts off for 15-20 minutes, and it'll kick back on again for a few minutes, and 70 watts is about the max this thing ever pulls. And so above the refrigerator I built this 3-foot drawer. Pretty long, but this is my sock and underwear drawer and just pajamas and stuff like that. Down below here, I actually have 2 cats that sometimes travel with me, and so what I did is I built a little door here, but this is actually an old biohazard door that was in the ambulance originally, so I thought it would be a neat way to reuse this. It's where they drop the sharps and the needles and all that stuff into. Also, the other things I have underneath my bed, I've got a 100-gallon water tank under here, so I've got 100 gallons of fresh water storage, which is really nice for long-term, being out in the middle of nowhere. It's been really great. I've also got a hot water heater under there as well, and my water pump is all under the bed. So mainly just utility stuff underneath the bed, with a little bit of space still for storage. So one other thing I do have under my bed also is I put this little vent here. And what that does is just basically allows me to see through and see my level of water in there really easily. So much like all the other spaces in the ambulance, I painted this space here to be different from the rest. I wanted it to be separated or individualized so it has its own feel. So I distressed this in a way that just kind of looked old and crusty, like an old concrete wall, from somewhere that's had a bunch of stains and stuff all over it. I've got a full-size bed here, so it's 54 by 75. Sleeps 2 people really well. It's comfortable. It's a memory foam. So at the feet here, I've got some upper cabinets, and this is basically for clothes storage, blankets, stuff like that. Got some board games over there, just little things keep you occupied while you're on the road. So on the other side over here, I've got a Bluetooth speaker. I got some books and just some other little knickknacks in a cubby here. On my Bluetooth speaker, actually, I connect that to my iPad, which I usually just throw over here to watch movies. So at the end of a day or whatever, having fun adventuring, and I want to come back and just chill, I can pop a movie on, turn on the speaker, and just sit here and relax. Yeah, so I've always been a creative person. I'm not sure what the drive is for that. I don't know why humans do the things we do, but one thing for me is I find myself, I get into that flow state when I'm creating, and it just seems like all the worries run away. There's nothing to worry about anymore. The anxieties, the stresses in life just disappear. In my shop, it allows me to be pretty creative. I do a lot of metal fabrication, mainly on schoolies and stuff, but every now and then do some interior design work and stuff like that. Yeah, so I've kind of designed my life to be around creative outlets, basically, to just get through it in a happy way. It allows me to get in that zone state and forget about everything around me and just focus on the thing in front of me. And it's really great living in that moment rather than thinking of the future that's not even here and the past that's already gone. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked what you saw, and if you need me to help you with any of your projects at our shop, Darkwolf Artisans, please reach out at Transcend Existence on my Instagram, and I'll get back with you and we'll discuss some details and get your project heading down the road properly. Thanks so much. See you on the road.